Hey guys, it's Mike with Indie Development, and we had a question on how maybe this is what we have so far. So we have a click. Basically, it just sets a piece of text onto the button to show when who played what. So the question was, well, how can we instead use text? They want to personalize this a little bit, and they would like to maybe use an image or something. So what we're going to do is we're going to real quickly go through this and just show you how instead of using text, you can actually use a background image just on the button. I think that'll be a quick way of showing you how to get some customization to it, and that you can make this your own. So let's go ahead and in your tic-tac-toe tutorial, open this up. First thing we're going to do is under resources here, I'm just going to make one image. So just go to new and then go to folder. We're going to call this drawable, and we're going to put our custom made stuff inside here. It'll be fine. So first things first, I've already made just some really quick images here. As you'll see, just a standard blank image, then one for the O and one for the X. So what we'll do is we'll drag it over. Make sure you hit copy files. And then we got two more to do. Like so. I think you can just actually click them all and just drag them over. So now we have our blank, our 0, our O, and our X. So now how do we get these into our game? Well, we'll go into our source here. We'll go to the tic-tac-toe tutorial activity.java file. Now, right now we're using text, so we're going to have to come down here, and now we could take this out since we're not using text anymore, but what will happen if you look at our layout, if you still have on your layout these right here, the numbers, which you don't really need anymore since we've already went through which button's which. So if you actually come in here, you can remove the text. I'm just going to leave it in there, but if you do not remove these numbers from the button, you have to keep that line of code right here inside here. Even though we're not using X's or O's anymore, when the board's made, we actually have to clear off those numbers. So I'll just show you how to do that real quick. Just right click on it, edit text, click clear, do it for each one. And a few more to go here. And this way at least you can take out that code if you're not going to be using text anymore. So now our buttons will be blank. So we'll go ahead and save that. We can close out of here. We don't need it. One thing to look at, I made these images 150 by 150. The reason I did that is if you look at the properties, go down here, we have the button set to a height of 100 dp and a width of 100 dp. I think that pretty much on medium screens will come out to about 100 pixels, and on high density maybe 150. So what I've done is I just made it at the higher end, which will be I made the 150 by 150. So we'll close out of this. Now we'll come into here. Since we're not going to be using text anymore, we took the text off of there. You can actually delete this. I'm just going to comment it out, and then we'll go down here to the bottom. But let's go ahead and we'll start here. So what we'll do here is, remember, just to kind of, in case you've kind of forgotten what we're actually doing here, we are looping through all of our buttons, and we're setting each value on the button here. So we're making sure the button, when we start a new game, everything's cleared. And if we look down here to the clear board here, that was actually from the tic-tac-toe game. If you'll look, clear board. So this is just a code in the back end. It's going to go through every one and set it to an empty space. So we'll call the clear board for the back end. Then we're going to loop through our buttons on our layout, and this is where we go ahead and we set the buttons back to enabled, and we go ahead and put the set on click listener to the button. And what we'll need to do now, since we're going to be using background image instead of text, we'll need to do inboard buttons I dot set background drawable. Now you may try to do a r dot drawable dot blank, but you'll notice that this isn't what it's looking for. So if you mouse over here, it says that it's looking for an actual drawable. It's not looking for the ID that would be passed this way. So how are we going to get that drawable? What we'll do is we'll put get resources dot get drawable, and now it's looking for an ID, which will be passed in by doing the r dot drawable dot blank. So when we make a new game, we'll run a clear board for the background, loop through all of our buttons. You can remove this line if you want, but we'll keep it here just in case I need it later for another tutorial to show something. And then you're going to enable the button, set the click listener. Now you're going to set the default background that you want to start with on your button right here. So we made that the blank one, or whatever you're going to make your image name. So now let's go down to the bottom of this here. Alright, so right here, what we're doing is it says set text to the string value of player. Now if we'll look, our string values were X for a human and O for Android. So did we set it up here as well? No. Okay, so what we can do here is you can actually remove this if you want. I'm just going to comment it out like before in case I need to come back later in the tutorial to show something else. Now we're going to have to put the braces around this because we're going to oh no, we won't. We're only have one line of code still. Well, I'll have more than one because that's what I was talking about. I'll have more than one because I'm just going to comment these out and not actually remove them. So you can actually remove these right here because we won't be using text no more. I'm just going to comment them out. So now how do we get the image to what we want? So if we look again, human was going to be an X and the Android is going to be an O. So we need to come up here. This is really easy just to copy this. Like so. Come down here and we'll paste it into each one of these. Now all we got to do is change this I to location. And now we need to set the drawable. Human was, I think, X, I hope. I'll check again here in a second. .o. Real quick, just check. Human's X, Android's an O. Human will be X if it's a human player. And this would be, if it's not a human, it has to be the Android. So now, this will actually put in that graphic there. It'll change the background. So just remember that when we set our move, we're going to be setting a move in our back code there, and then we'll also be setting the move of the button here, and so we disable that button so it can't be clicked anymore. And now we're going to be changing the background. So if all went well, that should be all you have to do to use your images. So let's take a look here. It's trying to launch. Alright, so now you see we had the default background image that we chose, and that gives you a nice way to actually see the borders there. So we click it, and it's going to show our graphics, our background images. Go, we win. You can't play on them. Menu, new game. Android went first this time. And it's going to be on Android 1. So as you can see, now we're going first. And that should do it for this tutorial. And I hope I didn't go too fast with this. If I did, just let me know if there's any complications or any places you need help with, and I will do my best to answer any questions you have. Alright guys, thanks. Bye.